Greetings, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the first edition of the Hack the Planet podcast in partnership with the Broverwatch and Owl networks. I'm your host, Sianarq. I'll let my two other co-hosts introduce themselves.
I'm going to be the other co-host, Dreydan.
And my name is Rio, and I'm a writer for Broverwatch.com.
Yeah. So this podcast is going to be a little different, as we will be focusing primarily on the Tier 2 scene. Every major region, that is China, Korea, EU, and both NA coasts, will all be covered in this podcast. Everything from weeks, games, news, stand-up plays and all. If you're looking to get into the contenders scene, well, you've come to the right place. Our first segment is simply going to be covering news around the globe, starting with the most recent announcement of the Gladiators Legion. I'm actually really excited about this one. So, Dre, go ahead and introduce this team to us.
So for the last few seasons, Gladiators Legion have not been necessarily the most standout of the academy teams, but recently they've had a major revamp of their roster, getting a DPS player coming from GE Pantheon and Going Water S Water from Korea, getting formerly named Fried Wiener from Second Wind, who is also a standout off-tank from Contenders NA Season 3, and getting a pickup from Luddy from Angry Titans, and XCC signing as a backup, along with getting a very popular coach in Made.
Yeah.
And it's overall a very stacked roster, but whether or not they're going to end up good in the current meta is currently something that might be shaky. Water's not been known to really be that good of a brig, and personally I wasn't largely impressed by Dalton in Season 3. Though he's solid, his Zarya leaves a bit to be desired.
They could swap around, though. Maybe, because obviously...
they could. Because Water, I think, if I remember correctly, he started playing more Zarya towards the end.
And Corey was playing, wasn't he? He was playing the Zarya for Gladiators Legion, I think.
Well, Corey was taken off during Season 2, and Dalton was signed as his replacement. Yeah. Last season, Dalton was playing the Zarya for them.
Okay.
Go ahead.
XCC is mainly just kind of like a glorified streamer signing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think we should be expecting too much. Yeah, kind of signed for a visa.
But I think the main issue this roster can come across is that they have signed a lot of good players, but they all come from different regions with different play styles. Water came from Pacific Contenders, which was known for crazy play styles, not running goats 24/7. And then you have another pickup in Lodi, who came from EU, who's known for running goats 24/7.
Yeah.
And then you have a new off tank who has to synergize with a new main tank, who's also Korean, and that's probably the first time Pride actually played with a Korean main tank. So I think this roster has a lot of issues they need to work out, but the potential is definitely there.
So for those who are unfamiliar with Luddy from the NA audience, he came from main support for Angry Titans, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Actually quite a solid main support. Did he get on Team Sweden last year?
I think he did.
He was on Team. He was on Team Sweden.
Yeah.
You could have seen him in the World Cup playing the goats.
Yeah, Ryu, go ahead and introduce us to Luddy a bit, just for the American audience who aren't really as familiar.
Well, Luddy is like a veteran from EU, especially from the EU scene. He's been playing the past year with Angry Titans every single season. I think they got top 4 every single time, and they played in Europe,
They were constantly top tier. I think Season 1 they were undefeated in maps.
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly.
Until they lost in the end, for regular season. Let me check that while you talk.
Yeah, and I think last contender season in the final was Angry Titans versus
Gigante. Yes, it was correct.
Lodi was playing in there, and he had a solid series, in my opinion. And he also had a solid showing in the World Cup for Team Sweden, replacing Zebosai as their main support this year.
Definitely better than Zebosai, 100%.
Yes, that's true. And I think this is definitely a good pickup. He's a shot caller, he's main support, and he will help this team learn the ways of the goat.
Yeah.
But as I said, they have a lot of new players to synergize. But if you were looking for a good main support pickup, then Gladiators definitely found the right person.
Definitely. I think, considering you play for Angry Titans, who were very heavily favoured running tanks, they ran a lot of quad tank, and now they transitioned to goats when that became meta. One of the teams that were in the Premier, I think maybe peak Season 2, Angry Titans probably could have taken a lot of maps off Overwatch League Goats teams, who so far have been quite poor. Just that team, along with Dreydan, 1 point in Eagle Gaming, like those four really, really nailed down how to play Goats. Speaking of American new rosters, XL2. Thoughts, guys?
XL2 was like kind of expected to be a meme. I think they started to give up on the whole localized thing like about halfway through.
Yeah.
Which I think Moopy, Jer, and Rena, they're and also Frill too.
Yeah, they're from the tri-state area.
Yeah, but of course you have like Yaki and Kirby aren't like obviously. I think Haku's from like Florida, and Akama's from Canada. So
yeah, Yaki and Kirby are both Korean like Apex Contenders veterans, right? Like Yaki has been on MVP space, I think it was for ages. Kirby, who was formerly Bianca, was also on MVP space, I believe, as well.
Yeah, he was on MVP space. I don't think he was on there as long as Yaki though.
Yeah, but they have a lot of experience. They've played tons of LAN games, and I think they should really help this team out together with Jur, who's still there, and Moopy was also a solid main tank in my opinion.
I think for goats, like having Frill Yaki, it's like that's actually nutty because Yaki's been a solid Zarya for a while, and then Frill was a very good brig in my opinion for second one.
That's
I mean, as good as of a brig as you could be.
That's it, isn't it? Formerly of the actual Goats team, formerly of the former console players like Fractal Esports.
Yeah,
it is, isn't it?
Like he went from like Frill
to Sit. Yeah, that team with Gator and Kaluge and all them.
Wait, what?
Wasn't his name changed just like a meme thing? Just to confuse pastors or something?
I don't even remember, but it was... He's gone through like 3 name changes back and forth.
Yeah.
He's NA Flower.
NA Flower.
So true.
Yeah.
I mean, I have faith though in this team. Like, their coaching staff is still also pretty stacked. I mean, they got Adam now who transitioned to like a manager role, it seems. But he has a very good mind for the game. I mean, and they also have some other good pickups right there in their coaching staff.
Wiz is a Here's a Storm coach who I think he came from Blossom's team in Here's a Storm, and then they also got another coach, John. I've heard a lot of good things about him, but
he's been very active on the Reddits and.
Yeah, and I think XL2 also got a very good group, where even if the team's not that good, the teams they have to go against aren't necessarily.
Yeah, let's talk about the way the groups are being done in the contenders.
Yeah.
Because was there any reasoning for putting teams in groups, like having this amount of academy teams on East, this amount on West, or was it just a random shuffle? Because
they had a picking thing. I think Benchmob posted it on Twitter, and it showed where I think Fusion University and Atlanta Academy were set into different groupings, and then so they picked the first team.
Yeah, they did.
I think Atlanta picked like Phase 2 they wanted in their group, and then Phase 2 would pick a team they wanted in the group, so on and so on. And so that's how they picked the groups.
Yeah.
And it ended up NA East is super stacked. Like,
true. They have the new Montreal team as well. Montreal Rebellion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick because their roster seems very interesting.
Who's on it? I believe Chain.
They have EU DPS, Nomi Hui, Goliath, and Tenza, who is the originator of Goats.
Yeah.
So that should help them.
It's like a first gen plus a few extras. I think Logic's and Naga is a really good DPS line.
That's a DPS line. That's a really solid DPS line for Goats. Exactly. Like Logic Zarya, which I think will probably be on the Zarya, considering Naga played a lot of Brig for first gen.
The thing is, though, will they be flown out this time? Because people are saying that the players from the Gladiators Legion, like Lade and water will be flown out to Los Angeles so they can compete in contenders. We'll
I'm pretty sure.
The new pickups from the other teams as well.
God ping.
Yeah, most of the academies, I think Montreal are actually, they're going to have everybody in Montreal. I think Shane is in Montreal. I've seen like a few posts from him on Twitter about that.
Because Logix didn't get flown out when he played for XL2. He played on the 120 pick from Belgium.
Yeah.
Oof.
I think Logix was like a really late term pickup for them that they didn't really have the time to fly him out.
Montreal are they East?
They're in the NA East group, yeah.
NA East.
So they're against University, Uprising Academy, and Legion as like, and Mayhem Academy as like the main.
If they're gonna,
it's a very strong group.
Yeah. If they're going to be on NA West, then that's going to be maybe if they end up playing on West Coast servers, for example, that's going to be a nightmare for Logix.
I don't think like the names of them necessarily.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking of geolocation wise.
I think the NA East and NA West type of thing is just for the sake of being able to split it into two.
Yeah,
it's
most
basically
likely.
The Pacific and Atlantic thing in Overwatch League, right?
Yeah.
It's just they need a name for it. And that's what they chose because XL2, who's of course East Coast, is in NA West, so doesn't really make sense. But
okay,
I guess it does.
So let's go through a quick run through of the rest of this group before we move on to the group with move on to West basically. So in group so go for all teams in NA East. So someone has that up, Dre. I think you have it up. If you could
I have it up.
List all the teams.
So we have first up we have Fusion University, which kept pretty much the same roster except they're gonna be replacing Karkar for Elk, which was a standout main support for Second Wind.
He was really good.
He's Taylor back.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then apart from Montreal, we've got the Uprising Academy with Asking Klaus. Then their new main tank pickup, Hypnot, coming from I think Bermuda. And he was on Maryland University Collegiate League previously. Then, of course, we got the Legion, and then we have Mayhem Academy. We've got currently their official roster isn't announced, but they've picked up like Mangachu, Shax. Let me check the rest of their roster here.
Yeah.
They Maniton, Fact Fiction. They picked up Wub.
Apply is still on there even.
Yeah, the Apply's probably been taken. Apply's probably been brought up fully.
Yeah, Eps is still there, and Paintbrush is still there.
They picked up the coach Curry Shot from 1 point too, so that might be a big help.
That's a good pickup, yeah.
Yeah, I've
heard good
like
things.
Curry Shot for a while. Second Wind's rosters doesn't look particularly impressive for this group.
They do have Sharik though. That's an EU Ryan player in a Don't Matter.
But
so
the problem is he's going to be playing on like CIS ping.
Oh, true.
That is true.
It's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
So, like Latvian ping is garbage.
They do have Gods though as their off tank.
Yeah.
It depends on what your opinion on him is, because I feel like whenever I talk to people about Gods, it's like half of the people think he's just washed up and will not be able to get better, and the other thinks that he deserves to be in OWL. So what do you guys think about, having Gods on Second Wind?
I was on that second half. Like, I did an article a while ago about players who I thought deserved to be in Overwatch League, and honestly, I was really shocked at the time when both DPS from the Gladiators Legion got picked up and Panker and Gods didn't. Like, for me, the standouts of that team, even though it was heavily a tank meta, were Panker and Gods. I think Gods' Diva was really consistent, and even he showed a couple of clutches on Fletch DPS. Like he went to Tracer to stall a point and got a 3k in one match. I can't remember which one, but and then Panker's just
mechanically really good.
He is, yeah.
He used to be
a DPS player.
DPS player,
yeah.
Off tank, so he's still mechanically really good, and probably in this meta where off tanks have to
play Sombra.
Play Sombra or Tracer, or just swap to DPS. I think someone like Gods on your roster is a really big
definitely. And also, we know how good Panker is. He's just been memeing on kids since Season 1. His Winston is nuts. He's so aggressive, but maybe in a Dota matter, maybe that's not the best thing. Obviously, we've seen really aggressive Ryans not really flourish in this Dota matter. And there's clearly a reason. For example, the Fusion's main team have been hesitant to bring in an aggressive Ryan like Fraggy, and they're preferring someone like Asado, who's definitely much more controlled. But we'll see. It'll be fun to see Panka go full bumper style in NA. Yeah.
I do think the most interesting team on this in this whole group should be Chicken Contenders, who came up from trials. And I don't know really what to expect from them, because they were not the best team in trials.
No.
But they have some names on their roster where you might think, like, this can work.
They finished third in trials, and looking at their roster, it's standouts. Harblu on the Zarya, maybe, but
Suppose is a really good flex support, but I think I don't know if it's really going to stand up to like a lot of the academies are going to be going up against.
Oh, definitely.
I know Salty on off tank is really good. He has a very good diva, and he's very good at eating the grass, at least from what I've seen from Contenders trials. Like, he's a smart player, and he knows how to position well. But I don't know, like 6 teams go through in this group. So, what would be your predictions for the teams that won't make it in this group? Would it be the teams that came up from trials?
I think so.
Will there be an upset?
I think Bermuda could go down.
And Bermuda going down. Though I am a big fan of Punta on Bermuda. I think he was good when he came in for Genji quickly. At least had a good showing. Kind of sucks he left, but I mean, Genji got an upgrade.
But I feel like Bermuda can surprise, though.
Yeah. Though Carter, I think, actually is suspended. And so they have to play, I think...
They have Wayfest on their roster.
Like I saw, they had to play, like, Guru Zarya, I think, if I remember correctly.
They brought in Wayfest, it says here, who is probably going to play from EU Ping, and he will be their Zarya, while Guru will be then on Diva, and Ultima Web on the Brig. So... like, name-wise, that's a good roster, but you'll have, a new player coming in from EU. I don't know about that one, though.
Do we want to go on to West, then, I guess?
I just wanted to do a quick preview. So we still all have Fusion University getting out of this number 1, don't we?
Of course.
We still have...
There's no reason to not believe that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I think they end up just... They always find, like, a really good coach for their team, too, every single season. I mean, Arrow Season 1, Pavane, or not Pavane.
Pajan.
Yeah, Pajan.
Fortune 3.
Yeah, and I think right now, like, they don't really even need Who Are You? I mean, they just have them on loan so they can get that buyout money when they sell them eventually.
They still have Nice as well, don't they?
Yeah, Nice is very good.
Who's a nut.
And Bicelo's back on the roster, so that's a good man for him.
Be interesting to see how he does. What happened to him, by the way? Did he just...
So he was supposed to be on
contract
Chengdu,
hell, right? I mean, that's...
But it just...
He was supposed to be on Chengdu, was he? And then... Okay.
Things happen.
I feel like it was just it was just transfer hell for him, like contracts, or that's like when you hear the stories, it basically fits the picture of contract hell, things not working out, salary wise or buyout wise or whatever, teams going back and forth, and then the date comes to hand in your roster, and then probably change you. So this took too long. Just gonna get a Hammond one trick on our roster instead.
Okay.
I mean, they're still waiting for Jijiren to come out of his health.
Jijiren. Yeah.
Though I feel like he's a bit overrated currently, at least by people who know the Chinese scene, because he's kind of a feeder.
I'm not so hot on him either.
In Season 3. I think Over and Silver 3 were better main tanks.
I'm not so hot on him either, yeah. But he might be a better tank player for the Goats, for Goats metas than Ameng. But, we never know what Stage 2 is going to look like for Overwatch League, so maybe they haven't become super meta and Chengdu will be top team with it.
Like, I feel like Over, from a Flag Gaming Twitter, he's now rumored to be on Hangzhou Academy, was just better. He stomped on kids in Season 3. It was insane.
Well,
like individually, Over is just so good.
that should be a promising preview then. Anyway, moving on to NA West, we've got NRG, MV, XL2, runners-up from last season, Atlanta Academy, Second Gen, Square One, Sky Foxes, Phase 2. Ryu, any names or teams that stand out here? Anything you wanna really highlight?
I'm really interested in seeing the Energy roster because this is the roster they run with. They ran with in season 3, I think, and they didn't really do particularly well. They signed a new main tank in Stem 1, and they got Byram and Castor and Isire, and they got basically a whole new revamped roster season 3, and it didn't really do so hot. But I'm interested to see if they can pick themselves up and go make a run for the playoffs, because I know they're like the individual talent on our team is definitely there, and I'm interested to see what they can do. Anything for you, Dre, to add to that maybe?
I mean, they did, so they don't have Hello I'm Halo anymore, because I believe
he retired. Yeah,
he retired from Overwatch. I think he's playing Apex now.
Most likely, I think so. Yeah.
So they picked up Pooks from Gladiators Legion because he was getting dropped. I don't know. Currently, they don't have like their official roster announced for NA Contenders, so they might make some changes. Because, I mean, they do have some good individual talent there, but it's like yet to be seen. Like maybe they'll make a few changes to the roster for the upcoming season. I mean, most of the NA teams still haven't made large changes.
Yeah, we'll see. Like NRG's good on paper. Like we've seen Kevster really pop off with, I believe it was Audless and Hungry, the third iteration of that team, and he's played on last night's Leftovers as well. I think he filled for a bit there. But just like looking through this NRG team, in general, the org is like, it's always had good players on it, hasn't it? Like it's had, Seagull, it's had IDDQD, it's had Numlocked, and then even then, like it's had Rascal, Swan, Damon. So
I mean, the original NRG roster was kind of the biggest.
It was low key. It was low key a meme. It was low key a meme.
I mean, it is very much a meme when the biggest match everyone talks about was a ladder match versus Rogue, where they beat the Bastion. Every other competitive match they played afterwards, they probably lost with that iteration of the roster, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I'm looking through this team now, and it says here from the Broverwatch League squad. So Dummy and Ajax. Obviously, we know Ajax has gone to Atlanta Academy. His duo partner Dummy went to Rob 420 Blase, which is a brilliant name for a team. I think Dummy is now playing.
Apex.
Yes, he's playing. He's playing for Gen G with Silkthread and Grim, isn't he? So
yes.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. But a quick shout out to Silk, Grim, and Dummy for finding a new esport. One thing I want to highlight as well, going back to this team, is Team Envy. Rumours, considering I think Team Envy, Envy themselves were missing an off tank, or they are now lacking. They have a hole in off tank. Sorry. An Ellie vote of Angry Titans is just left. So what do we think about this one, guys? Ellie vote to Envy.
I think that's probably the most likely outcome. I don't know where else you could go. I've been hearing stuff about multiple Angry Titans players going to academies, and it seems like Envy's the only place he's really going to realistically go. Because, Atlanta Academy has Hawk.
Yeah.
XL2 has Kirby.
Yeah.
NRG has Smex.
FU has Bernard.
Yeah, Uprising took Punk.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the only place he's realistically going to go
Envy.
Yeah.
There's no...
And it would be a huge pickup for them. Because Elevon is just a really good player who's like bags and bags and tons of experience with goats.
Definitely.
I think Eleva is definitely like one of the best unsigned off-tanks currently. Or at least non-Overwatch League off-tanks.
100%. On the topic of EU, actually, there were some games this week. Like, EU Contenders have started already. So, we managed to catch just a few of the week one games. Obviously, Dre, I know it's late for you been in it's just a really
It's really early.
It's really it's off peak
By
times.
the time I get home, it's like halfway through the second game, and so I'm not able to catch all of it.
Yeah. I was just saying, it's really off times for you. I managed to watch a few of them. Before I give my thoughts, I want to hear both of your guys' views on what you managed to see or hear at least.
Well, I was interested in seeing Eternal Academy.
Definitely.
I was interested to know who they were gonna pick up, and then I saw the kind of meme video, which was interesting to say the least.
It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
So scuffed.
Their roster to me, it doesn't really like. They have a couple good names, like Super Plug is a very good main tank in the Ghost Manor.
Yeah,
right now.
definitely.
You know, he comes from 1 Point. I mean, he's a god.
1 Point, and also Eagle Gaming as well, who were best Goats team in the world, undoubted at the time.
Yeah, he has won contenders, right, with Eagle Gaming, Super Plug.
Yeah, he did.
And they have Chow on the off tank, who's just a beast, of course, and they have Kenzie on deep gas. So those are like the three big names to me, and they are like the names I would think that should carry the team. But the other three, I'm just not so high on the other three.
Before we get into them, because I know Dre is a big fan of Kenzie and Chow, so Dre, come on, drop us some knowledge about these guys. What makes them so likable to you?
I mean, I've in general liked the CIS scene, like with the Russian players and then people from that region.
Yeah.
Chow has been one of the top off tanks.
100%. Yeah.
Throughout the European region, and then has been very good, like across all three off tanks of playing both D.Va, Zarya, and Hog.
Yeah.
And then Kenzie himself has been, in my opinion, also one of the more impressive hit-scan players in a slew of talented hit-scan players from Europe currently in contenders, and I think they're also just definitely two of the standouts here.
So, Dre, you might know this, but who would be playing which role in this team? Because we probably know Super Pluk and Chow will be the D.Va players, but who else would who will be on which hero mainly this season?
I mean, Zeal's definitely Brig. I think that's pretty much confirmed at this point. He's going to be their projectile.
Kenzie did play in their first match. Kenzie played the Zarya in their first match, sorry. Yeah.
Kenzie's a better Zarya than Zeal is, 100%. I think it's going to be a team that does better if DPS come back, but that's not going to happen for like another few months.
Yeah, we'll see.
Until the new patch rolls in, if that does.
Of course.
They have to still synergize a bit, probably, because I saw some reactions on their match, also from the players from the team, and all the Twitter, all the tweets kind of read into the idea that they haven't been playing together for so long, for a week or two or something. So I feel like they still need to synergize a bit, and then they'll be fine, because the roster has talent, but
definitely.
If they'll probably make the top 6, but to challenge the top 4 in the EU region might be hard.
Okay. Personally, for me, I want to basically shout out and do a quick review of the team I think I actually have backed to possibly win the whole thing. Samsung Morning Stars, on paper, and considering they've been playing together for a while now, their roster just looks so strong. They've got Leaf and Hardest. Again, coming from Eagle Gaming, Hardest Zarya is absolutely insane. Dragon Eddy, Dragon Eddy's been a solid diva for a while. Actually impressed me at the World Cup, to be fair. They have Malzasser, who has played Ryan for years, and will happily stay in Ryan prison for as long as he does, because the guy's insane.
What he's good at.
Overwatch League veteran, Malzasser.
Not Overwatch League veteran.
Oh, no, Overwatch veteran, sorry.
Yeah.
Overwatch veteran in general, my apologies. Went toe-to-toe in the strongest Rhine region with the likes of Fusions, Lulshis, Cloudy, all these top Ryans. I remember one time he absolutely destroyed Ben Best on when they played Young and Beautiful last year when he was on 1 Point. But obviously we've seen Ben Best kind of struggle in the Overwatch League, so we'll ignore that for now. And then obviously their backline as well, Dreydan and Exarath, have just both been really solid.
Dreydan is probably one of the biggest prospects when it comes to main support, probably worldwide. Like, the guy's 15, 16 years old.
Oh, I didn't realize he was that young. Damn.
And he's been picked up as a ladder player before. I think he hit like rank 1 Mercy, something
he,
like that on the ladder.
Mercy during peak.
And then everyone's like, okay,
Pog.
so like just a Mercy 1 trick or something, and you picked him up for the double sniper meta.
Yeah.
But then Goats comes in and he swaps Lucio, and he just seems to have an insane Lucio too. And he has been fantastic for this team for the past, games they've played in the past Contenders season.
From watching him, he sort of reminds me of almost like that sort of calculated style. I don't know why, but I can't get the links between Dridro and Elk off my mind. Like, clearly Dridro's brain is like pretty, like, the guy definitely has a knowledge for the game.
Damn large.
Pretty huge. Like, the guy definitely has a 5-head in there, which is good to see.
And the most interesting thing as well, because for EU, the last competitive tournament we have seen for EU wasn't Contender Season 3. It was actually the Assembly in Finland, I think it was called, and it was
yes, it was, yeah.
That Team Giganti and Samsung Morningstars attended, and the funny thing was that Samsung Morningstars actually took the W in the end.
Yeah,
and beat Team Giganti in the grand finals. Were at the time and still are, of course, now the reigning
contenders champions, yeah, with the same roster as well. Like,
exactly,
Giganti have made no changes.
So that's going to be very, very interesting to see it. And I also think that's what makes Europe so interesting, because they have 4 teams that are basically on equal levels of strength.
Mm.
In Samsung Morningstars, Team Giganti, British Hurricane, and Angry Titans, who we haven't really talked about yet, so that might be a good chance to do now.
Oh, definitely. Dreydan, yeah, go for Dre. Titans or Didante, whichever one.
I'll go ahead and talk about Titans then.
Yeah.
I mean, they've kept like 4 of the players they've ended up replacing, of course, Liddy and
Alivote.
Alivote, yes, thank you.
Yep.
With Emil was getting kind of tossed around. He was signed to 1 point, then got yoinked onto Angry Titans at the last minute, and then Fat also taken.
And also before, I'm pretty sure he had a spell where he was on. I think he was on Union Beautiful for like 5 days, and then he went and played for 1 point instead. Or
he was on Orclus in Hungary as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
For a little
that
bit
was
as
it.
a substitute. I feel like he hasn't been on a
Permanent team.
I've seen him in Angry Titans.
It's been so odd.
He's been thrown around. Yeah.
But anyways, I think Fat and Afox is also very good.
All Portuguese backline. PodChamp.
Oh, yes. And then, of course, Spectral, formerly Onigod, is actually so nutty at this game.
He's just very good at this game.
Just
in general.
It's just very good.
He's good, Forehead.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
To truly explain, and I feel like Volsish, poor guy, has been robbed multiple times. Poor guy robbed from Swedish World Cup. A good round, go next. It really be like that sometimes.
Yeah, you've been saying for a while, like, how you've been so high on Logish and how you rate him better than, like, do you rate him better than both main tanks on Paris? I definitely know you have him above Ben Best.
I just feel like Volsish is probably better Winston than Ben Best. Well, actually, he is better than Ben Best. And I feel like he just was better individually than Ben Best throughout the season of Contenders.
Yeah. Logish has been solid. Like, he's gone up against, like, if you guys don't know, like, EU for Reinhardt players is, like, the absolute gold mine. Like, it's just, EU, we've been playing Reinhardt since, like, beta. Like, even when Winston was, like, just peak dive meta, people still played Reinhardt in EU. Like,
they just did Reinhardt dive. They don't.
Yeah, I just play dive with a Reinhardt. Just charge them forehead. Like, so there's a lot of experienced Ryan players, like Numlock, Mao, Latex, JK Lol 21. Like, all these guys have super experienced on Ryan. So it should be a really interesting region to watch for the Ryan plays in Goats, definitely.
Yeah, especially. And then, because talking about Numlock, because we haven't really looked at the British Hurricane roster yet,
No.
because they made some changes as well in the off season.
Yeah.
And they now got Suna in on DPS,
Mm.
and
Sparker as well.
Is Jofi new or isn't he?
Jofi was there last
Jofi was
season.
last season.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Support.
Yeah, he replaced the Astro.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
So but they got Suna now, and I think he's playing the Brig for them.
Yeah.
I didn't catch their game, so I'm not sure. I think Suna might be Zarya for them, and then
Danid is the Brit.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch their game, so I'm not 100% sure on that. I can check real quick while you all...
Go for it. We just want to be factually correct on this show. I'll run through a bit of Hurricane
It's
though.
actually pretty interesting to see that Dan has transitioned so well from his
Doomfist
quick days to just being a competitive player in a competitive roster and playing the metas.
He doesn't look out of place in this team, which is a super good sign. Like Hurricane were, I'm surprised they had a lot of they weren't very successful in GOATs, considering they had Fusions and Gib, who have both been now signed to Overwatch League teams.
Yeah, that was a weird one last season.
Yeah, it was, but they also started playing Happy Call on Farah and stuff like that, and playing triple DPS comps and taking him out, for example, when they needed a top diva.
Yeah. I just feel like they wanted too many different things. They didn't choose one style to go for, and they just tried. They got less instead of having a lot of experience in one style. They tried having experience in a lot, but actually made them worse in a lot of them.
Definitely.
Focus on one.
Teams like Titans, Gigante, and
they just went full goats.
Eagle just running goats.
Easy clappers, easy clapped everybody to the final.
But I have faith in Hurricane to come back, because they have Notch as a coach, who again was in Eagle. Notch came in as a coach, I think, at the end of last season. But he was a pickup. Yeah, he was.
They won their first game 4-0, so that's a good sign against.
Definitely.
Was one of the two teams are basically, well, in my opinion, were probably locked in trials.
Yeah, coming in with the new iteration of Young and Beautiful as well, who actually have a decent DPS line. They have Cafe Zarya and then Flippy on the Brig. If I'm correct.
Cafe Zarya is probably top 3 EU easily. The guy's
definitely
absolute nuts.
Naughty Zarya, yeah. I saw on a tweet from who was their first game? I forget. Young and Beautiful. They played in their first game.
They played Titans.
They played Titans,
Yeah, they got 4.
Yeah, Titans tweeted out just the playing around of Cafe Zarya, just hard speeding on him when he's on no energy, because they were just so afraid of Cafe on high energy. They were really adapting their strategy around defeating the Zarya, which reminds me a bit of how UK played on the World Cup. I remember the match on Dorado where Sinatra's all the way in the back line and he ints personal bubble, and they just speed through the entire team to kill him. It sort of feels like, they're really respecting Cafe Zarya in that region, so, they're adapting a playstyle around to try and counter him, which is...
But the thing is when a team does that and focuses so much on one player, you might think that other players on that team have more room to shine.
Yeah.
But I feel like the players that are in the roles that need to make a difference, like Krondop on the tank, Danny on off tank, and Huni on flex support. I'm not convinced by that.
No, I'm not either.
At all. And that might hurt them, because Cafe, I feel like this is just going to be Cafe trying to solo carry on Zarya.
Which could work, because it's Goat's meta, and the better Zarya, if you kill their Zarya first, as, I don't think they've repeated enough, you have a 5% chance of winning the fight, so, it's going to be a bit higher in EU, because the competition is going to be sort of less skilled, but if there's one meta where Cafe can just try and hard carry, then it's going to be this one.
Probably
this one, yeah.
But I feel like, especially the top 4 in this region, are just way.
Oh, definitely, the level is.
It might be very like Eternal Academy 1 point. She's gonna create you, and Young might have a little bit of a battle for the 5th and 6th place. But I feel like Eternal Academy has the tools to at least get the 5th, and 1 Point also has the tools to at least get the 6th. But this 1 Point's roster is actually also pretty solid after a lot of these people left.
They rebuilt well.
Yeah. I mean, they get Latex, main tank,
Tech.
and Tech 36, who's pretty insane, and Scalar, who's a really good Scalar and Eng, which is a really good.
Oh yeah, I'm glad Eng found a home. He was really good. He didn't deserve to be anywhere less than contenders. Like, I think Eng was really solid for that team. Obviously Russia World Cup as well, but just in general, just what you want from a Lucio player.
Exactly. I feel like 1 Point is probably, even though they got 4-0 by Team Gigante, Team Gigante is on a level.
On another level, yeah.
But I feel like 1 Point and Eternal Academy are the teams that will lock in the 5th and 6th places.
Yeah.
And I will be very surprised if Shoes Manikuru or Young and Beautiful will be able to contest them.
Yeah. So quickly speaking on 1 Point, obviously the news that I think Mirror tweeted out before the game that he was considering retirement, but then Mirror played in that game, and then he said now that he's going to be playing the season out and continuing to go pro, which is obviously good news for 1 Point, because Mirror's Zarya is like absolutely insane. So
that is true.
It was because of his parents.
It was,
the grades up, and then I think he made like a deal that he would play the season. Honestly, I'd really like to see him play for longer, but it kind of sucks if he stops playing after this.
That would, yeah, definitely.
So, like, to wrap up EU real quick,
definitely.
We have this clear top 4, and I feel like we have like the 2 under and the 2 under. We have the clear top 4, and then we have the 5th and 6th and the 7 8. Kind of how the standings are right now.
Yeah.
Do we think that this will change in the group stages of this contender season? That we might see an upset, and which team would be the one to create that upset? Where would you put your money on?
Honestly, I think just the experience of the teams. We've got such Overwatch League then. We've got such Overwatch veterans, like people like Schmalzasser, Lulzish, these. I think there is an obvious skill gap between this top 4, which I think I'm right in saying is Hurricane, Gigante, AT, and Morning Stars.
Yeah.
Do we both agree?
Definitely right.
Dreydan, do you agree? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the top 4 is going to be almost unbreakable. Though I do think if anybody does end up breaking the top 4,
1 Point.
It'll be 1 Point.
Yeah, interesting to see. I was a really big fan of 1 Point last season with their hybrid of Portuguese players and former Eagle players. I think I've been saying from time to time, spreading it around as much as I can. I think that team with Hardest Zarya could have taken maps off Overwatch League teams in Goat's Meta. But again, I'm really looking forward to seeing Hardest Zarya this season on Morning Stars, because I just love me some good top tier Zarya gameplay as a Zarya main myself.
That's definitely true.
Yep.
But yeah, we've basically covered
EU.
And
would you like to move on to Korea?
Yes, definitely. Exactly. Moving on from one of my teams from EU, I'm going to start away with a hot take. GC Busan Wave, they're winning the whole thing. Changed my mind. This team's got Edison, Alpha Yi, Delight, who was formerly God Sejong, I think. They've brought in 3 from 7, whose Diva play has been pretty solid, to be honest. It's been very solid in Tier 2 for a while. They've got Ion. They still have Jonyu. Obviously, we know from we know from Overwatch League that if you have 2 letters in your first name, the first 2 letters, like Jonat, Jonyu, this is where the power is hidden. It's hidden in the silent J. And obviously their backline, Daydream and Fiora, I think could compete with Overwatch League teams. And the standout, I said him first, Edison. This kid is absolutely insane at the game. I'm so high on Edison. I fully expect to see him in Overwatch League. Season 3, I think he's eligible. Dre?
I think he's...
Edison is available right? Season 3.
Yeah.
He comes in then.
He's one of the prospects with Alarm, and who are you?
Oh, get them 2 on an get them 3 on an expansion team. Oh. That's
That's a core right.
That's a Gachi clap right there. Gachi.
Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, there's only 8 teams this season. Yeah, and it's not on LAN. I mean,
It's not LAN, though.
LAN,
Which is such a feels bad.
It's a shame, really. But who do we expect to make the top 6 here, Dre?
I think. Can you give me a minute? One second.
No problem.
Okay, we're actually gonna have to edit this out, but give me a minute.
It should be fine. I'll go with my predictions now. I've got Busan, Mystic, Runaway, Genji, and MVP. So if you go onto the Liquipedia website, it's that top 4 of Runaway, EM, Busan, MVP, along with Genji. And I think out of Geekstar, WGS, and O2 Blast, I think I've got O2 Blast in there.
I mean, WGS are right. They haven't changed their roster from last, and they did get pretty far, and they got the upset of, was it again? Right before they got deleted by Runaway?
WGS got the upset for GC Busan.
They did.
Exactly.
Sad face.
So I feel like this apart from Runaway and Element Mystic, I feel like this season can be very competitive.
Oh, 100%. Like, we know how strong Korea is a region. Like, even with these teams that, Busan might not end up making it far, but there's obviously talent in there that is destined for the Overwatch League. So, I think my winners... I mean, I want to back Busan, but, as much as I want to go with this opening hot take, I think if any team's going to compete with Busan, it's... I mean, there will be competition with Element Mystic and Runaway, so...
Yeah, I think Element Mystic. Maybe. We say it every year that it'll be this season.
But it
never is.
It never is.
Never be like that.
There's always that one team, isn't there? That every year they say it's our year, and it just never is.
I think, there's just like EU, there's a definitive top 4 of Element Mystic, GC Busan, and then I think Genji, too.
Their new team with their new iteration, for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
It's very stacked. I think they can also I think it's really up in the air who can take this season.
Oh,
can you tell us a bit about the new Genji roster, because there is some interesting names in there and some names we might
I think I run
Glister.
I'll go for Dre. Yeah.
Glister, he was on X6 and kind of X6 and the 7 Trials kind of melded group where he stood out. He was very good. He's very underrated.
He played
either Brick Player or there's Zarya, actually.
I think he's him or Stalker.
I think Wikid will be on the bridge, so probably Glister Zarya, I imagine.
Yeah.
And Wikid we know from the Seoul Dynasty from season.
Yeah. And I think he'll be pretty good too there.
True.
And then we have Wu Xiao, who is probably going to be at the very least solid. I don't think he'll be
top tier.
Nope. I don't think he'll be super good.
Maybe for Goat's matter he will, because obviously the reason he sort of saw less time from the Spitfire was obviously that he just wasn't as good as Fury, who is
because he's a KD player.
Yeah, as opposed to Fury, Fury is just the best diva, to be honest. He's shown time and time again.
I feel like Wu wasn't very impressive during his time.
He was more aggressive, wasn't he? His peel for backline as diva, which is so important, just did not exist at all. He was basically a fat Genji, as I believe Seedor described diva, and he's not changed that style.
I feel like he did kind of, readjust his gameplay and actually performed pretty well on his time on XL2. And I feel like in the meta that we're going to see, that Wuyo can be a very good off-tank for this team. And looking at their supports, they have Dance, who is a Korean Overwatch veteran.
He's been around. He's been around.
All the way back to Apex Season 1, Season 2, where he was playing for...
Kangdu Uncia.
Yeah, Kangdu Uncia on the team where Birdwing was originally on as well.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Kangdu Uncia, jeez.
Dance was actually the off-tank for the team. I think he was Roadhog, playing a lot of Roadhog in that time. And he moved
that's a while ago, that's Roadhog meta.
He moved to flex support actually on the first iteration of the Samsung. I think.
Yeah, Samsung.
Samsung Morningstar's black.
Morningstar's black it was, yeah.
Or he was on blue. Never mind. Porterman.
Yeah, and well, he got dropped from there and then got picked up by I think it was.
It was just Gen G, wasn't it?
He was just picked up by Gen G.
Yeah.
He was on the team last season as well. He was.
No, he was only on Gen G.
Hmm.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
He got picked up last season by Gen G. Yeah, right. And he's team captain, I think, as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a lot of experience, and he's a really good player.
And Oberon is also a very good Reinhardt, I think. It'll be good for them.
Yeah, I've not seen or heard too much about Oberon, but I think there's potential there. Like, he was on MVP space, which were
He is solid.
didn't have
very solid.
didn't have the best results, but like individually, they sort of reminded me of Seven in that way, where they have good individual players, but just their career is so strong. Like, you know, like they were competing against Runaway and Condu Panthera, and both iterations of Condu have just been stripped and taken to Overwatch League. And obviously both Runaway iterations have been really strong. So, you know.
Yeah, because talking about the second iteration of Runaway, because the roster that won Contender Season 3 pretty extremely convincingly stayed together, of course.
Wow.
Most of them very young. And I think Gangnam Jin, Lee Jae-gon, Sweet, and Hisu, all four of them are underage still. I think only Mag and
QOQ.
No, Mag is not. Mag is
Mag
like
not
16.
even, well... Oof.
Mag is 16.
I know QOQ is a
yeah. QOQ, Gangnam Jin are of age, and Decal will be of age for Season 3, and Hisu will be of age like midway through Season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so they kept the roster together, and they signed Decal probably kind of as a backup for if any of the DPS is sick, because I don't see him getting any playtime at all when the roster is available.
Yeah.
But is there any chance that the team will dethrone this iteration of Runaway from their contenders championship?
Honestly, as much as I want to go with Busan, like this Runaway team is like it's so near Overwatch League level again. Like the starting from
so
Flower Within and Runner has been ridiculous. Like Hisu coming from Element Mystic, formerly Himgosu, his Zarya was nuts. QOQ and Mad are like Bumper and Janu 2.0. Lee Jae-gon and Damnan. Lee Jae-gon's. Yeah,
Lee Jae-gon's Lucio is probably the best outside of OWO right now. Like, the guy
definitely
absolutely insane on Lucio.
His
mechanics are nuts, and basically whenever you have face Runaway and Ilios, well, you just...
It's just game over. Like, just don't even go on the point, because he's going to find a way to put you in it. Like... Yeah, like Runaway, obviously, their first iteration, never quite managed to hit the peak, and then they bring in Slime and Twilight, and they've suddenly found the best back line. They found one of the best Mercies, who transitioned to one of the best Lucios, and they've got one of the best Zens now statistically in Overwatch League, and they've done it again, and it just, like, you can tell by my voice, I'm just, like, in a marvel of... like how good their starting has been, that they've built a team this strong so quickly, because few people going in didn't expect Runaway to be this good, and then they just walked through Season 3 of 2018.
Yeah, they lost like 3 or 4 maps total.
Yeah.
What was the grand final score? Like,
it was like 4-1.
It was a 4-1.
It was a walkover.
Against Element Mystic as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like the moment they realized how they had to deal with Sparkle's Doomfist.
It was game over.
It was just absolutely game over.
They played Goats against Sparkle while Doomfist was actually a good hero, and they just adapted so well. We'll move on from them. Obviously, quick thoughts that we were saying. How good they were and how they built so quickly.
Runaway just too good.
Runaway, too good. Forehead. Basically,
it just feels like they have an extra ult every fight.
They do.
It's like how they have another graph. Is that another Transcendent? Oh, well, I guess it's just Runaway.
Yeah, their ult economy's been pretty solid.
Anyway, we should move on to the two teams we haven't really spoken about in Korean Contenders, and that's O2 Blast and FVP Space, I think it was.
WGS it was.
Oh, WGS.
We talked about WGS.
And then
it was MVP.
But MVP, I don't I'm unsure why they put so much trust into their new rookie players to be dropping Oberon, Bianca, Yaki.
Maybe it's
Tuba.
just money. Did they sell them?
Like, I don't know. I mean, not really. They kind of just dropped them. Like, it was not even like a selling. They're just like, goodbye.
Oh.
I mean, they signed So What, who was the
Yeah.
main thing that almost went to the Dallas Shield, which was
But that's
pretty
like,
amazing.
But then they got OG instead,
honest,
and OG is just better.
to be honest, So What isn't really too impressive.
He isn't really, no.
I mean, he's nothing impressive though. He's like the only name I recognize. I think Finn and Froppy have, or at least Finn was like been on MVP space as like a permabench player. I like most of the names I don't really know for this team.
So
This roster just seems underwhelming compared to what they have.
It's
like
definitely a question mark. So that's
Geekstar has potential to do solid. I don't know if they'll be able to really bring it, like, break into top 4, but they're either going to be solid or.
again, I think it's the same as EU. Like the gap is just
there. It's like, what are you going to do?
yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Moving on to a region that's much more open, in our final region, China. China.
Oh,
The region
man.
that's brought us Hammond, quad DPS, anything
And
but goats.
16 contender teams, right? Or 12? How many do they have?
Now they have 12, I believe.
Yes, 12.
1, 2,
6.
3, 4.
Yeah, 12.
So they kept the same size as they had previously.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors going around about the academy. So Chengdu already signed their academy. They signed LG
Huya.
LG Huya now, and so far there's only 3 players on the team, and Molly, their flex support, Langsa, their main support, and then Kami is a projectile DPS. And I don't know necessarily who they're going to sign next. I mean, it's like we still have to wait until they really make that official.
This team's had some names though. Yvetal, Xiaoyan, Undead,
Yeah.
Timon, Yijin. Like, these guys aren't slouches.
So, like, I mean, some of the better players definitely like Tian, Ninja, who is now Elsa.
Yes, of course.
Zaltal.
Yvetal, yeah.
And of course, our favorite,
Undead.
had his little stint on LGE after he was kicked from Overwatch.
He went back China mid-season to Smash.
Hasn't the
Unreal respect.
name though?
Yes, he went
he
to
changed his name to Hypnos for like
be a
month.
player,
Undead.
Yeah.
and now
he's
he's
back now.
because he's a coach now.
No, I don't know what he's doing anymore because the team he coached in Vicious Immortals disbanded, and so he's just, I don't know, he's probably like smashing or something.
Who knows what Undead is doing?
Probably just paying for like the abortions of the
do we
3
really
girls he
wanna
slept
know?
Jesus
with.
Christ. I don't think we do.
We edit that out.
You edit that. Please, bro.
Edit that out, please, bro. Just
Okay.
play in the Overwatch League, please, bro.
Anyway,
Okay, so-
Anyway,
can we
Hangzhou Academy?
yeah,
yes, Hangzhou Academy.
academy teams from Hangzhou.
Someone pull up the
Hangzhou.
rumor.
So I have it up.
While I
it's
unbox
over-
my Mackies.
Over the Flag Gaming main tank. They got Zijin, who was Team CC's off tank.
Zijin is pretty good.
Over in Zijin's a very good tank line. They got
Exactly.
Yaoshi too, who was on LGD, but he never really did too much. He's probably just gonna be their backup player in general. Then they have Shy from, of course, the World Cup, LGD, good hit
Who is
scan.
Probably
got,
their star player.
Him.
Well, they were saying this. Shao
And
played
Kovacs.
for X6 in Trials, didn't he? And didn't look
Who?
shy. He played for
I
them
don't
Trials,
remember.
didn't he? Like that X6 Trials team with like Glister and Free and everyone.
X6 Trials, I like to push out of my memory.
Yeah, that's why. It really was
But
a
Shy is
fat
still
Monka
good.
S. Oh, he's still a good, yeah.
Yakumo, who is a solid flex DPS, also from Team CC, and then a guy named Bei Chen, which I honestly don't know too much about him. He was on Moss 7 Club in Season 1 trials for China, but he's like kind of projectile player, but probably also going to be benched like Yashi. Then Mika Coldest is the flat gaming support line, which is very... Coldest is probably the best Chinese Zenyatta. Like, he's actually insane.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight Coldest. Really impressed me. I think he has a spot on Chengdu as soon as he's eligible.
Probably.
I think he's underage at the moment, but as soon as
He's 15, I think.
oh, Oofies.
No, I don't
15
think...
or
is he
16.
15?
But yeah,
He was still very young.
I think he's the equivalent of he's like the Chinese alarm at this point. Don't want to put too much pressure on the kid, but
But yeah, I mean, he
Coldest has been
a nutter.
yeah, he's just looked so much better than all the other flag supports in the region. Big part of that flag gaming success. So overall, Hangzhou not messing about with the academy. They've gone for Chinese players. One name that we've seen that we've started hearing again is Leave, but we don't exactly know where he is or where he's going. Rumors of Guangzhou and Chengdu academies, but
Like, at first it was Chengdu, then it was like Guangzhou, and I don't know if he's back to Chengdu. It's a mess right now. I don't know if he's just going back to PUBG at this point. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
I doubt it, to be fair.
Guangzhou, I think they were rumored to be picking up the Pacific Contenders winners from Season 3, Hong Kong Attitude, with Shaolin, 18.
With Leave, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was Hong Kong Attitude and Leave.
And then they have
Which
like
would be
CQB
another
member
roster.
guy.
That would be a really good roster. Was Bacon Jack on Hong Kong Attitude at any point?
No.
No.
Bacon Jack was on Flash Wolves when he played.
Flash
Of
Wolves,
course.
Sonda.
That's my bad.
And then they have Perfect and VK. So, I don't know if that's gonna go through. It could, but not sure.
There's just not a lot of confirmed news yet from the Chinese region. I mean, we
Yeah,
know the
it's kinda
teams that
similar
are
to
going to be
NA.
playing, and we know the amount of teams that are going to be playing, and we know when the start date is. But other than that, not much really. I mean, Hangzhou is going to have an academy team in there as well. Are there like any talks about players that will be on that team?
Oh, that's what we talked about, like the
Hangzhou.
division. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Like Team CC had a lot of their players
Yoinked.
and
Yeah,
then same
they
for
need to
Flag
rebuild.
Game. The only two teams that I see like having a major chance, like maybe if Flag Gaming can get a solid rebuild, and then T1W and LGD because they're the only ones that.
What happened to... Yeah, because LDG are still around, even though they had
They
Eileen, Only Wish. They had all their team basically yoinked.
they had
Shy, Eileen, Only Wish, Gooshway. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
it was rough. It was very rough.
Yeah, they had their four best players yoinked.
Yeah, so they ended up having to get new tank line, which their new tank line is actually very solid in. I think it's Tangshi, or I don't know how you say it. And then Rookie, very good tank line in my opinion. I think they're the standouts on there. And then Secret is also a solid flex support. I think
So there's hope for LGD then?
there's hope. There's hope. But since they're the only team that didn't get their players yoinked again. T1W though, if they keep their roster, they're just gonna win again. Like, it's good. I don't know. what to say.
They lost Crystal as well, didn't they? Like, they lost a really good player.
They need Crystal. It was good, man.
Yeah, true.
They threw Migia, and Migia, when he was on Doomfist, is actually God
Pogged
reincarnated. Sadly, now Doomfist is dead, so
Doomfist is a terrible hero, but
he's relegated to
Brig
I don't know what.
Brig
Well,
probably.
he played Zarya.
Oh, did he?
Zarya for them. Yeah.
I was about to say.
I don't know what. It's
See if he can adapt like Danid did.
But like, it's just good. Illusion is a great main support. When he's of age, he probably gets signed to Chengdu. Or if there's a new Chinese team, their tank line's nutty. Waya is great.
China's going to be an interesting
T1W.
region to watch.
Yeah, China is going to be
T1W
very
is-
up for grabs for.
T1W is the Fusion Union China.
Mm.
Like, actually.
calling it.
Since Zenit left.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
I mean,
Hopefully Guangzhou or Hangzhou test them this year, but
I mean,
Hopefully.
probably can. I mean, if they are
Yeah.
actually building they
Yeah.
are, then
they just need
it's going to
like-
be very competitive, which is going to be very fun to watch.
Flag
Chinese
Gaming.
styles playing Overwatch.
yeah.
I feel like had a good chance at being T1W that had similar skill level players across the board and some were better than their counterparts in T1W.
It's
The real big issue here.
Yep.
They had U4 as their coach, and so that's like good around going nice.
Oof.
Is Jason still in Flag Gaming?
Yeah, he is.
I always rate him
As
very
far as I
highly
know.
as a projectile
he's
player.
Good player. Yes, he's still there.
Nuts.
Yeah,
And I mean, he
Farah
also
and
has solid
Hanzo.
hit scan too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he better than Jinmu? I wasn't too familiar with China.
His Farah
I
is
think-
definitely better than Jinmu's.
But Jinmu's a better overall projectile.
Just we've seen how good Jinmu's far has been. Like
Jinmu just needs a brain, dude. He's totally
he's just all aim.
He just needs some
Oh,
game
I know,
sense. Just some
Hashtag
of Kusta's 5 out in there.
give Jinmu a brain. Give Jinmu Custer's brain, and then all of a sudden it's just
And that's just Jonik 2.0.
all mechanical, no brain, all brain, no mechanical. Like just the perfect
fine.
player.
He'll be fine. Anyway, so after we discussed China, I feel like we have all chosen some players to highlight from
Yes.
each of these regions that we think will have a big impact on the coming contender season. So let's start with you, Joyce. Who did you pick and why?
So I went from I went from 4 regions. I went for coldest from China, who's either going to be back on flag or he's going to be on Hangzhou Academy if that's the rumor. I went for Edison of Busan Wave. I went for my boy Mo Zasser from Mal Zasser from Samsung Morning Stars, and I went for Hawk of Atlanta Academy. Hawk, I think, best diva in NNA, to be honest. Like Hawk was so solid last year for Atlanta. He was.
He was
I can't remember. I can't remember what team he was on before.
Hawk was
LNL,
on
right?
phase 2.
Phase
oh,
2.
Yeah, phase 2. True.
Let me check.
He just looked really good on Atlanta. Like I saw that whole finals match, and he looked really up to par with Fusion Uni. Like at that time, he looked like he was really competing with them, and we know how good that team is. So,
yeah, true.
Malzasser, purely because of his Ryan play, I think that now there's been a bit of a decrease in overall Ryan quality in EU compared to season 2 and 3.
Just a little.
Just
bit.
a little, but
it'll
it'll still be very good. You know, Lulfish is still
It's
there.
EU for a reason.
It is. It's EU for a reason. I'm looking forward to seeing Malzasser swing this hammer on all these new kids. He's like the Soldier 76 of EU, isn't he? Get off my lawn, or
basically.
get
He's
Earthshattered.
actually he's the grandpa.
He is the
like
grandpa.
29.
He's going to be playing from a retirement home soon.
He really is.
Yikes.
Playing on
Feels
life support.
bad,
Yeah.
man.
And then we've got Edison from Busan Wave, who I think like Busan and good DPS is just, it's like cheese and pizza. It's like you can have pizza without cheese, but is it really good? Like, you know, it's just a very good combo. Like
I've never had pizza without cheese. but
there's
that's a
pizza without cheese.
Very interesting comparison you just did there.
It is. It's two things that belong together. Cheese on pizza belong together. GC Busan Wave and good DPS just go hand in hand. And I think Edison is going to be one of the very best. Again, watch the space. Couple of years time, he gets an Overwatch League. He's going to start taking names. You want to watch a proper
I believe
DPS?
that too.
You want to watch a proper DPS, proper Zarya player in Korea? Watch Edison. And obviously Coldest is a hard fragger. He is the Chinese alarm at the moment. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I think,
Yep, Dreydan. Go for it, Dre.
I think I wanted to pick out ones that aren't like the most obvious standout
Yeah.
necessarily. It's like Car for NA has for him like on second win seems like such a key piece like to their success like throughout the regular season. I don't know. I mean, I've seen him he was praised a lot for being one of the best upcoming NA mid supports, and I think he's going to continue that on Fusion Unit. For China, I picked Over. I believe that, to be honest, Over's like the second best Chinese main tank. I think in Season 3 of Chinese Contenders, the guy was actually like stomping on everyone that he met during the regular season. Like, the guy's an actual Giga Chad. I mean...
The Giga Chad.
He just is, dude. He just is.
He's got that jawline on point.
Okay, his Winston, dude, nutty. Hammond, insane. Reinhardt, fat. Giga Chad.
Giga Chad of a player.
And then, you know what? For someone else, another Giga Chad from EU. My boy Lolfish.
Lolfish.
I've been high on him for a while. I think he needs to stop getting robbed. And I think it's about his time to step up.
My man
and
lost to Reinforce.
smurf.
How did he lose to Reinforce in a Winston meta, dude?
I'm not gonna
Yikes.
talk about this, dude.
Yikes, dude.
Unfortunate.
Wolfish, he is going to smash kids. I believe.
Reinforce, man. He hinted so hard they took away his fucking hour contract. Oofies.
Oh my.
Oofies.
And then for Korea, this is one that I feel like was a less obvious one. I'm gonna go with Glister, who I think is hyper underrated. It's great DPS, and I think is gonna like finally get to show that on Genji with a team that has players that are not going to int him through trials.
Oh, hopefully.
I pray. I'm praying.
Let's hope it's not like a Giannis and DC situation. Free Giannis, please. So, lastly, go for it, Ryu.
Well, for me, if I follow the same trajectory as you guys, for my NA player, I would actually like to go for people might not know very much, because he came up through trials with Square One, and it's Ultraviolet, the flexible. Who, if you've seen trials, the guy is an absolute monster. Sianarq is absolutely insane, and he basically schooled everybody on how to play this hero in trials, and I feel like he will do that again.
Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet's his name? Yeah?
Exactly.
People with Violet in their names, man. They're just god tier flex.
I mean, this guy is just the ultra version of Violet. And
He is.
He deserves it because he's an actual nutter.
Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Ultraviolet. It's just...
You'll see when you go when he goes into Contenders and plays his first game. Watch his Zenyatta. He's insane, and he's still very young, so he won't get picked up by an Overwatch League team. And I feel like if he was of age, he would have probably been picked up already because he's just nuts.
Damn.
Anyway,
Hi.
swapping to
Praise.
EU, we've talked a lot about our Zarya carries, and I feel like it's pretty easy to pick from the top 4 teams. So I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna highlight Cafe from Young. I feel like if there's any player, like Josh, like you mentioned already a couple times, if there's any player in any region in this meta that can hard carry their team on Zarya,
It's Cafe. It's Cafe.
100%.
Yeah.
When this guy gets above 60 energy, he'll just wreck the team.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested in watching EU Contenders, definitely go watch a game from Young and Beautiful and put your can on Cafe, because he will show you true skill on the Zarya. For Korea, well, actually, I mean, I'm gonna support my boys from Runaway, and I'm gonna highlight not Gangnam Jim. I'm gonna highlight Lee Jae-gon, because the guy's just an absolute unit, and that's all it is. Moving over to China. Well, I'm a big Lee fan, and it's not sure if he's signed yet, but I feel like I cannot, for pure out of respect for his skill, I'm just gonna highlight Lee, because I probably just get signed anyway. And
if he wants to, he's getting signed, no doubt.
I mean, the guy is an absolute unit. He's just insane. I think he played about 20 heroes in the World Cup alone.
Yep.
Even Reinhardt, even Lucio,
Orisa.
And Orisa.
Played
He
Zen.
doesn't care. He just plays whatever. And the guy is just nuts. And if it will get signed, doesn't matter to which team, he will make a difference on his team. 100%.
Oh, definitely. On any role, flex support, DPS, off-timed, whatever.
Doesn't even matter.
The guy plays everything. Like, give him an upside-down keyboard and he'll still manage to pop off. Like, Honestly, put him on main tank will probably be better than Muma in about 3 months. Like,
The guy's a
naughty player.
Naughty player.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. So for contenders, I mean, we've had a lot of changes on this format, and we will be seeing international lands this year with the main event, which is the Gauntlet, which is gonna be in October, if my memory serves me correctly.
I think
and
so,
with
yeah.
the showdowns, the Atlantic and the Pacific showdowns after this first season, which is actually not even that far away. It's only like 2 months away or 3 months away when we have these showdowns, because it's going to be between the break of Stage 2 and Stage 3 of the Overwatch League. I feel like this is going to be a super good year for contenders and a very interesting year for contenders.
Definitely.
Because we will finally see some crossplay, finally see regions stacked up against each other. And
which we need.
Do you guys think that that Korea will just dominate everything together with the NA Academy teams?
It'd be interesting to see Runaway go up against what's most likely going to be. If I'm correct in thinking it works, it's the top 2, or is it the top 1 team from each region?
I think we get 3 from NA, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We get like 1 from South America, 1 from Australia. We get like 2 from China.
And 1
2
from
Korea.
Europe.
I think, we get 1 from? Oh, we get 2 from Korea, and then we get 1 from Pacific. So most of the major regions have like 2. I think.
Yeah. Good
Korea will
representation.
probably win. Like
That's going to be so fun to watch.
We'll probably see Runaway and Element Mystic. Like
Yeah. Well, you never know. EM could choke
Yeah, you
again.
never know what can happen.
Busan could
EM,
come out
if
there.
EM's choked in semifinal.
I feel like this will just help, especially for Overwatch League Season 3, where people will won't just blindly pick up all the Koreans that they can, because now we can actually see Contender Sun from different regions stacked up against each other, and we cannot just assume that
Korea is the
region
best.
is the strongest region, because maybe, maybe we get EU's top team rolling everyone over.
I think if Goats rolled around and if any team can get near
EU can take it.
EU could
If
take it,
isn't- But
Like
if it's any other meta,
Hurricane beat Fusion University
like
with Quad Tank, so
I mean, like, it's just good for contenders. It's good for the players that they have an actual proving ground now for Overwatch League, and the scouts will have an actual comparison for players to
definitely.
see who is the best pick of their team, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, just cross-play again, and also the additional scouting opportunity is going to be so huge for Tier 2, because it really does need a boost. So I think that about wraps up the end of our first podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, so thanks for coming out. Cheers, guys, if anyone's, people watching.
I'm happy we've highlighted. I think we've highlighted all that we can. We've spoken about a lot of the regions, and I hope we have we were able to inform
at least
the
somewhat.
people about the Tier 2 Overwatch scene and the players and the teams involved.
Yeah, definitely. Tier 2 is exciting, guys. Like, it's you want to know where people come in from. Like, so many teams, so many players from Tier 2 got picked up into Overwatch League this year. I doubt there's going to be 8 expansion teams again, but, maybe come even a few months, we're going to be seeing some of these names step onto the Burbank stage again. So,
Exactly.
it should be interesting. Okay, so that concludes the first episode of Hack the Planet. Again, big thanks to both Dreydan and Ryu. You'll find their Twitters in a link below on the social feed. Friendly reminder as well to also follow the Twitter of this show. It's HTP_podcast. One more time, that is HTP_podcast, where we'll be promoting this Twitter, articles by the co-hosts, and also general Tier 2 news as well. Okay, thanks for coming out, guys. See you. Bye.